Thanks for checking out this video. So this is taking a look at what is coming to Shudder for May, and there's some interesting stuff coming to Shudder. There's also some stuff coming back that was already on there, which is something they've been doing a little bit more of lately. I am going to tell you right now, last month people got excited for me because they did a really good job of sending the synopses for all the films they were putting on there, so cuts down on my work. This time they didn't do that again. It kind of appears that this stuff's getting kind of like passed around within the AMC company, so not everyone's doing it the same way. Typically it's kind of bare bones. The other problem is, I'm going to tell you what they gave me from their press release for what's coming in May, but there might be other stuff, because that's been the issue, is inevitably they'll give me this list and say, this is what's coming in this month. And then eventually when they actually roll out their little picture that they'll put on social media about what all is coming, there's something additional. And it's kind of like, I don't know if just those things weren't solidified at that point, they forgot to add them, or what is going on with that, but I'm sure there will be something that I don't go over in this that's coming in May, but this is what I know about. So let me start first with where I always start, the exclusives and originals to Shudder. Again, this is what they've been doing lately, which I'm totally fine with. They're doing 3 of those per month, so there's also 3 for May. Just know that if you're interested in no spoiler reviews of those films before they come out, you can come to my channel. They're putting them out on Fridays. It looks like that's been their permanent shift right now. They had been doing it on Thursdays. Now it looks like they're just going to be doing Fridays for the releases, which I actually think is better in my opinion. So I will have no spoiler reviews out that Monday of the Friday before it comes out. So a few days ahead of time. So there are no spoiler reviews, because I don't want to, spoil things if people want to watch the films. Anyway, the first film that's one of their, I assume it's an exclusive, but Huesera, the Bone Woman. Here's the synopsis. Valeria, a young woman expecting her first child, becomes cursed by a sinister entity. Plunged into a terrifying and dangerous world, a group of witches emerge as her only hope for safety and salvation, but not without grave risk. I think this one's probably going to be good. The reason I say that is, for the January-February edition of Rue Morgue magazine, it's their cover story. I have not read that story yet, or that article yet, and I'll probably try and hold off until I've actually seen the film, because I don't want anything to taint what I see in the film. But I'm assuming it'll probably be pretty good because it's their cover story. They usually don't pick bad films for their cover story, so I think we can get excited for that one. It is a Spanish language film, so there will be subtitles, just so people know. The next, I got to give you the date. That's coming May 12th. Huesera the Bone Woman's coming May 12th. Then coming May 19th is Consecration. Synopsis for this: after the suspicious death of her brother, a priest, Grace, goes to the Mount Savior Convent, oh my gosh, it's one of those days, in Scotland to find out what really happened with the help of Father Romero. But she soon comes to distrust the account of the church as she uncovers murder, sacrilege, and a disturbing truth about her own shadowy past that brings long-buried trauma to the surface. This one looks kind of interesting. It's by the same guy who directed Spiral, another film that was on Shudder within the past few years. I think it was like a 2021 release on Shudder. I thought that was pretty solid, so we'll see how that one goes. Then the last one that's their exclusive/original is called Influencer. It's coming May 26th. Synopsis: while struggling on a solo backpacking trip in Thailand, social media influencer Madison meets CW, who travels with ease and shows her a more uninhibited way of living, but CW's interest in her takes a darker turn. Okay, sounds like it could be pretty solid. We'll see where that one... Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. The person who directed this one was the person who did Spiral. The person who did Consecration, I think, did something else, but I can't remember at the moment. Person who did Spiral did Influencer, just so you know. I think they were also involved with Superhost, if you like that film that was also on Shudder. Okay, so let's go to the things coming back to Shudder, which that's the first thing in the month. Are films that were on Shudder probably about this time last year, actually. And I did review almost all of them, 3 of the 4. So I did do the work. I went to IMDb and got the synopses, so I'll have those right now. So coming on May 1st are the next 4 films. They're getting the French Extremity films back, which they dumped on Shudder last month, minus a little bit. Like Frontiers is not coming back, and I think there was like 2 more that they had on last year that they're not doing this time around. But they're bringing back High Tension. I have a review of that on my channel if you want to watch it. Best friends Marie and Alexia decide to spend a quiet weekend at Alexia's parents' secluded farmhouse. But on the night of their arrival, the girls' idyllic getaway turns into an endless night of horror. It's a good film. If you've never seen it before, go in blind. It's a good film. The next one is Inside. Also reviewed this one. 4 months after the death of her husband, a woman on the brink of motherhood is tormented in her home by a strange woman who wants her unborn baby. That one's interesting. I didn't like it as much as High Tension, but if you're into like the French Extremity stuff, you should see it. Then we have Livid, which I also reviewed. The suggestion of a big treasure hidden... That's a weird way to start it. The suggestion of a big treasure hidden somewhere inside Mrs. Jessel's once renowned classical dance academy will become an irresistible lure to a fiendish trap for Lucy and her friends. That one's interesting. I didn't love the film, but it's definitely interesting enough. I think they did a great job with atmosphere in it. So I think it's worth watching. Then the one I have not seen before, it's the 2015 Martyrs. So it's the English version remake of the French Extremity film Martyrs, which I've reviewed on my channel, the French Extremity film Martyrs from 2008. I have not seen this 2015 one. I've actually heard that it's terrible, but let me know in the comments if that's true or not, if I should check it out. A woman and her childhood friend seek out revenge on those who victimized and abused them. That's it. I heard that there's some pretty important stuff from the original film that's not in this remake, and you're just like, okay. Okay, so the next 2 films are coming to Shudder on May 8th. Poison for the Fairies. A 10-year-old girl convinces a lonely classmate that she is a witch, forcing the child to become her assistant. Though their games are initially rather naive, they gradually take a nasty and violent turn. I think that one's from the 70s, I want to say. Interested in that one for sure. Next one is Darker Than the Night. 4 beautiful women move to an old house inherited by the aunt of one of them and witness strange things. Could you be more vague? That's so vague. That tells me basically nothing. This is why I would like their own synopses from Shudder. It would be a lot better, I'm just saying. But I can't give better just because I haven't seen the film, really. But anyway. The next 2 films are coming on May 15th, so the halfway point of the month. This first one I do recommend if you've never seen it. I have not reviewed it, but I probably should. The Babadook. A single mother and her child fall into a deep well of paranoia when an eerie children's book titled Mr. Babadook manifests in their home. Very creepy, very scary to some people. I really enjoyed the visuals of the film. And what's it play thematically, I think is really good. So definitely check it out. Then the other one coming on the 15th, I'm sorry, one of those days. The Devil's Doorway. In the fall of 1960, Father Thomas Riley and Father John Thornton were sent by the Vatican to investigate a miraculous event in an Irish home for fallen women, only to uncover something much more horrific. I don't know. Doesn't sound that great to me, but if you've seen it and you recommend it, let me know. That's also an older film. Maybe from the 80s, I think, early 80s. And then the last one is a newer film. Oh, no, The Devil's Doorway, I think, is a newer film, actually, from the 2000s. The last one is also a newer film coming on my birthday, May 22nd, actually. So that's cool. Hopefully it's a good film. In Their Skin. The Hughes' cottage vacation is violently interrupted by a family on a murderous and identity-stealing journey in search of the perfect life. Oh, so home invasion type thing. So if you're into that, sounds interesting. And that's it. I know a lot of people have been complaining that, what's being put on Shudder is kind of light. I think it's a good amount of stuff if you're like me and you're not, you don't have a crap ton of time for watching film that you're not reviewing. because my issue is, you know, I'm trying to, especially right now, work through all of this, which takes time, and review it all for the most part. So yeah, I don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of stuff on Shudder. I watch like a few a month, and there's a back catalog of stuff that's just still on there that I never watched. So including, you know, they'll have stuff from the last month, but would love to hear what you're excited about. Not just what's coming for May, but what's currently on Shudder that you're like, man, I saw this, it was so good. Just wanted to let you know, things you highly recommend to me, things you think, maybe you should stay away from them. I'm always looking for those recommendations, so go ahead and put them down in the comments. And also, if you just want to, you know, talk horror and be nerdy about it, because that's what this channel's about. Do me a favor, hit subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I really, really would appreciate that. Also, hit the notification bell button if you want to know when I'm putting up new videos, which is 3 to 4 a week, which I think is a good amount. But regardless, thank you very much for checking this video out. And until next time, keep it brutal.